To be honest, this shit wasn't as funny as it was. At the beginning of my junior year, my parents had been separated for 6 months. My dad had moved out. He asked me to go out to eat with him. We usually run errands to Stop and Shop to stop by his bank. But this particular time, we stopped in the middle of the parking lot, and he asked me, "Is there anything you want to tell me? I know something you don't think I know." I looked at the back of his head. He didn't turn around to look at me when he said it. He had a stern voice. I had always sat in the back seat since I was a kid. I never sat in the front seat. So at the age of 16, I was still sitting behind him. I froze because it came out so randomly. I thought it was going to be a little nice hangout day, but I guess not. I asked him, "What do you mean?" He said back, "You know what I'm talking about," then turned in his seat to look at me. "You're choosing a lifestyle that I don't like. I didn't raise you to behave this way. Did I do something wrong as a father?" He mentioned my sister and her mistakes in high school. He thought I would be doing the same things, like skipping school. Our conversation always revolved around school and education, nothing else. His friend had told him that I was dating girls. They had seen me walking home from school with them. He said how embarrassing it was for other people to see me walking around with other girls, doing stupid things. He said, "Why do you choose this lifestyle? I told you I hate it." Growing up in a Cambodian household with mainly traditional values and beliefs, I was raised with the mindset that being gay was wrong. My mother ensured that my sister and I grew up respecting and valuing the traditions, perspectives, and customs. As a young child, I found no issues with this. I did everything I was supposed to do as a good daughter. I respected their wishes, I did well in school, I never questioned their authority. I saw my dad as the man of the house. We never had a type of relationship where you would sit down at dinner and talk about anything and everything. It was always about my grade and what I wanted to be in the future. My dad was very critical of everything. He was bothered by seeing anything that had to do with gay rights on the news. He described homosexuals as unnatural and worse than animals, but suspected that I was one too. It made me uncomfortable every time it was brought up. It wasn't until I was in middle school that I came to understanding that I was gay. So I began to challenge the beliefs of my culture and ultimately my mother and father. This confrontation ended with, "Are you going to change?" I didn't get disowned, but it still sucks having an aspect of me being degraded by my father. Not a stranger, but a person who gave me half my life and provided me with all the things that I needed. Uncomfortable may not be the word, more like guilty because I identified with something that he didn't agree with or liked. To him, it seemed like I was doing these queer things behind his back, when to me, I was just embracing myself in a safe space. His talks continued to only revolve around school, future, career. It seemed like that's all he cared for and wanted. As an American teen, education a priority, but being social and experiencing rites of passages mattered to me as well. I wish it was like the same with my mom, where she had already known, but waited for me to say it. Or like people's first time coming out to their parents and they're like, "Wow, thank you for telling me. I'll embrace it. I'll support you in every aspect." But I didn't get that. I got questions like, "So what about your career and future? Are they going to be impacted because you're this way?" But actually, because I am this way, it encouraged me to impact others, to become a person that my peers could approach. My dad doesn't realize that I do value school, just maybe not in the way that he envisioned it for me. My parents didn't get to finish school. At 9 years old, my dad experienced the Khmer Rouge and was separated from his family. After the war, he completed his high school education, then escaped to Thailand to a refugee camp. Eventually came to the US, where he resettled here in Massachusetts. My dad tried to pursue a higher degree, but I learned that he gave up his last semester of his associate's degree to work more, to continue to support me financially. Since I was a kid, my parents were always working and raised me in Lynn public housing. My parents made it a point to make enough money to move out of the places that we rented. I think that's why they wanted me to study so hard so I could get out of Lynn. Lynn is a working class city with many different families who migrated from all over: Cambodia, Somalia, Puerto Rico, and Greece. That means a lot of folks fighting for the same resources, urban violence, and limited youth development opportunities. But I found a way to cope with all of this through different spaces. My high school's Asian American Club, Upward Bound College Prep, and the Khmer American Youth Association breakdance group were spaces for many of us Lynn kids to stay away from home. I can't be a biologist or a pharmacist like he wants me to be. I also can't get married to a man and have kids like he wants me to. I am not the expected outcome of a perfect Cambodian daughter. but my measures of success cannot be determined by the amount of money that I'm going to make. But I can measure my success by the amount of support that I give to other students, something that I felt that wasn't present in my youth. But he has given me that trait of helping others, and that I can't take for granted. But I know I won't be able to tell him all of my accomplishments right now. That's just how our relationship is.